What I put up is Dane. In this video I'm going to be telling you if you can build muscle mass at home, right? My answer is yes, but let me tell you why. I want to give you the 3 aspects of nutrition, training and recovery, so let's get into this. Okay, so for your diet, the most important aspect is a calorie surplus, right? If you're not eating a calorie surplus, you won't gain weight or build muscle no matter what, right? It just won't happen. So I'll give you the protein intake, the carbohydrate intake and the fat intake, right? This is not that necessary. The most important aspects are the calorie surplus and the protein intake. The carbohydrate intake and the fat intake, you don't really need to track too much, right? So let me tell you exactly what you need to eat. So protein intake should be about 1.7 to about 2 grams per kilogram per day, which is probably like 0.8 pounds grams per pound of body weight. That's for protein. For carbohydrates, it's 3 grams per kg. And for fats, it's about 1 gram per kg, right? So like I said, just worry about the energy balance. So eating a calorie surplus, which is basically eating more calories than your body requires per day to pack on some mass, and then worry about the protein intake, right? To hit the protein intake every day, just have protein in every meal. Just have like about the size of your hand or something like that. That would hit your protein intake for the end of the day. So that was step number 1. The most important aspect of dieting is calorie surplus and protein intake. Okay, so I know a lot of you are wondering, should I be taking protein powder or not? In my opinion, if you're not getting the energy balance, the equation right, the calorie surplus first, if you're not hitting that every single day, then you might as well buy that protein powder and throw it in the scrapyard, right? There's no use of it. So protein powder, the only time I ever recommend it, if someone's like really busy, they haven't got time to cook, because obviously going to the supermarket now, you can't just cook up a steak in your car and stuff like this, like on the go. I do recommend protein powder for convenience, but it's really not necessary. Okay, so some food sources that you can eat in order to pack on some mass, in order to hit that calorie surplus. Here goes. You need to eat a lot of healthy fats, right? Because healthy fats contain 9 calories per gram, whereas protein and carbs contain 4 calories per gram, right? So that's more than double, right? So fats are going to be a friend. Here's some food sources: avocado, olive oil, coconut oil, nuts. Nuts are real good, man. Just keep them in your pocket, in your car, whatever. Always have access to them, get those calories in. You can eat like snack bars, like granola bars. Those are easy, quick, convenient foods. Steaks contain a little bit more fat. And also try and keep these healthy fats, right? Obviously there's a lot of fat in chocolates and stuff like this, but you want to keep the healthy fats. So you can have peanut butter, almond butter, all these foods you can put in your diet just to increase your calories. And those are the healthy fats. I also recommend a lot of carbohydrates. They're also very calorie dense. My favorite are pasta and rice. Pasta, man, I cook a whole bang 2,000 calories for the day. It barely fills me up, so does rice. Whereas potatoes and sweet potato, they fill me up a lot more compared to the calories. So yeah, those are the food sources in order to pack off some mass. Okay, so I've told you about a calorie surplus, right? And you're probably wondering, okay, what's a calorie surplus and how do I eat a calorie surplus? To eat a calorie surplus, you simply just do 15 times your body weight in pounds. Once you have that number plus by 500, right? If you're still not gaining weight on that number after like 2 weeks, and obviously you gotta track your weight every single day, then add another like 200-300 onto that, right? It's important to know that the more calories you add doesn't necessarily mean the more muscle gain. It's like an inverted U effect, right? So basically, if you're adding 500 calories, and you're gaining about, say, 2 pounds on the scale per month, right? This is a good amount. If you're getting any more than that, you're probably gaining a bit more fat than muscle. Of course, you will gain a bit of fat when you try to build muscle. That's just how the body works. But if you're seeing rapid fat gain, then slow that calorie surplus a bit down, right? Decrease it a little bit. So that's really important to know. Okay, so the second part of building muscle at home is workouts, right? I know a lot of you are thinking like, just get to the workout already. I will, trust me. So in a workout, most of the people that I see that are just starting, and even at home, man, you need to be doing compound exercises, and most of the exercises at home are compound exercises, depending if you have equipment or not, right? If you don't have equipment, push-up is like a compound exercise, pull-ups, dips, chin-ups, all these kind of things, they're compound exercises. Personally, what I did and what I recommend to build mass is I did a lot of dips, a lot of pull-up variations, like I mean loads, chin-ups, rows, like the dip bars. Those were the 3 or whatever 5 main exercises I really did. I used a lot of variation, and one thing that's really important is after a while, if you start doing more than like 8 to 12 reps or something like this, then increase the variation, right? Make it harder. Make the exercise a lot harder, so increase the angle. For example, if you're doing a push-up, lean forward a lot more in order to get the shoulders involved, then that will make it a lot harder. If you're doing dips and it becomes too easy, change the tempo up, make it slower, stuff like this, right? If you haven't got any added resistance like a weight vest, this is my recommendation for you. But if you have got access to a weight vest or some weight plates, attach it to a belt or whatever, and obviously your weight vest, you don't have to, and increase the resistance over time. This will lead to muscle growth no matter where you are in the world. Adding more resistance over a period of time leads to muscle growth, right? So that's the workout portion, the main aspect. He knows compound exercises, and like I said, a rep range, you can work in about 8 to 15 reps, right? So that's the basics you need to know in order to build mass for the workout part. Also, one more thing on a workout is when you do workouts, have a structured program, right? Don't just ask around, say, one day I'm going to hit shoulders, one day chest. And in fact, I never recommend hitting one muscle group a day. It just doesn't make sense to me. Research clearly shown us train at least 2 muscle groups per day, right? This is real important, and if you're maximal hypertrophy, maximal growth, you need to know this. So for example, you can follow like push-pull leg split. That's what I did a lot when I did bodyweight exercises at home. It worked good for me. Full body workouts, upper, lower, those splits are great to build muscle mass at home in order to get the right frequency of training each muscle group. Okay, so the last step, and one of the most important steps, so if you've watched the video to this point, don't click off. I'm telling you now, everyone neglects this, I neglected this, and my results suffered, right? So if you're serious about this shit, listen up. Sleep, man, I'm telling you, this is such an underlying factor. Most people are just thinking about diet and nutrition and training. It's not as important, man, as sleep. Well, it is, but sleep about 8 to 9 hours per night for optimal recovery, right? If you're not doing this, man, I guarantee your workouts will suffer, your recovery will suffer, and this will really impact your muscle growth, right? So one more factor on top of recovery is water, right? So the recovery aspect is sleep and water. Drink about 4 to 6 liters per day, and this is real important for optimal performance and muscle growth as well, right? So those 3 factors are real important. Nutrition, eating a calorie surplus. If you're not eating a surplus, you won't be gaining muscle. The workout portion, hit the compound exercises, get stronger over time. If you're getting too strong, add more variation. And like I said, if you don't have more resistance, increase the joint angle to make the exercises harder. And lastly, recovery, sleep and water. Sleep 8 to 9 hours per night and drink 4 to 6 liters of water per day, right? Okay, so that's the end of the video. If you found the video useful and informative and got a lot of value out from it, subscribe down below to see a lot of all my other videos on how to build mass, nutrition, cardio, intermittent fasting, whatever you can think of, I probably do have on it. And leave a comment down below of what video you'd probably like to see next. And I always get high in your comments, but more importantly, stay positive, stay smiling, and I'll see you in the next one.